Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. In this segment, we are going to talk about one type of irregular verbs, which is mahmuz. As you might recall from our last session, when we talk about the different categories of verbs based on root letters, we said that one category is mahmuz. This is where one of the root letters is a hamza. Then there are these other types of irregular verbs, which are shown over here, muzaf and then misal, ajwaf, naqis. So each one of these will get a class. Today's class is on mahmuz. Mahmuz comes from hamza. So when one of the root letters is a hamza, such as sa'ala. So with sa'ala, the middle letter is a hamza. So this is the name of this sort of an irregularity is mahmuz. Okay, so it is possible for the hamza to occur either as the first, second, or third root letter. When the first root letter is hamza, the word is termed mahmuz al-fa. Why do you think this is the case? Why is this? So if there are three root letters and the hamza comes as the first root letter, this is called mahmuz al-fa. Why is that?
Because fa is the first letter.
Exactly. So
Fa'ala.
fa is the first. When the second root letter is hamza, the word is termed mahmuz al-ain. For example, sa'ala. I hope this is obvious. The second letter is the ain letter. So if you have hamza in the middle, such as with sa'ala, then this is mahmuz al-ain. When the third root letter is hamza, then the word is termed mahmuz al-lam, such as dara'a. So dara'a, which means to reject or to avert. So this is mahmuz al-lam, sa'ala is mahmuz al-ain, and akala, which means to eat. This is mahmuz al-fa. Sa'ala, what does sa'ala mean?
He asked.
Ask, to ask. All right. Okay, so these are the three types of mahmuz. Now, this information, by the way, that I'm teaching is from the Dream textbook. Dream is a program that was started by Bayyana, which was founded by Numan Ali Khan. And I've come across this book recently. I think it's an excellent book. It explains what we've talked about, and it's all in English. So next time I'll teach, I'll probably use the Dream textbook, and I'll also share this textbook with you. Okay, now some vocabulary based on words that have a hamza in it. So mujarrad, so this is thalathi mujarrad. These are words that have the three root letters. Here are some examples. Amina. So the way this textbook is gives a word, it gives the mazi, mudare, and the masdar. So Amina ya'manu amnan. This means to feel safe. Amina is obviously mazi, ya'manu is mudare, and amnan is the masdar. So what sort of a mahmuz is this?
Fa'ala.
This is mahmuz al-fa, because the hamza is on the...
Because hamza is the first letter.
Exactly. Then we have asifa. Asifa ya'safu asafan. What does this mean? This means to regret or to feel sorry, to feel sad. So asifa ya'safu asafan. Okay. Then family 2. There are different ways of calling the mazid fi, and in a way, when we do this, there'll be a good revision of what we've studied. What do you think? What is the name of this bab? Ajjala yu'ajjilu ta'jilan.
Bab tafa'ul.
Dr. Ghani, what do you think? Ajjala.
Tafir.
So yeah, this is actually Babe Taf'il. So what was our example with Babe Taf'il? Do you remember?
Nasara yansur.
Sarrafa.
Sarra.
Sarrafa yusarrifu.
Exactly. Sarrafa yusarrifu tasrifan. So now instead of so tasrif, let me just write the full thing, and I'm sort of doing a revision over here also. So tasrifan. So what's the fa letter? So
Fa.
over here, what's the fa letter? Hamza.
Hamza.
What's the ain letter? Jim.
Jim.
The lam
Jim.
letter is lam. So ajjala. So notice this is ajjala following the same pattern as sarrafa or fa'ala. Yusarrifu. This would be yusarrifu. Yusarrifu. Yuajjilu, same pattern. Tasrifan, tajilan. So notice it's exactly, so this is tasrifan, so this is babe taf'il. So very good. So Dr. Ghani knows his babs well. So this is babe taf'il. So family 2 is actually babe taf'il. Some books refer to this as family 2. Other books will call this babe taf'il. Okay, so what are some words in family 2 which have a hamza? So one is ajjala, yuajjilu ta'jilan, which means to appoint a time. So often when Allah says that there's a time appointed, this is the word that's used. Ayyada, yuayyidu ta'idan. In this script, you notice this below the shadda. When you have this line below the shadda, that means it's a kasra. So ayyada yuayyidu ta'idan means to help or to give strength. Even literally this comes from the word yad. Yad means hand. So ayyada means to give a hand or to help somebody, to give somebody a helping hand, which means to help or to give strength. So ta'idan, so this means to help or to give strength. Then we have bawwa'a, yubawwi'u tabwi'an. This means to provide accommodation. Nabba'a, yunabbi'u tambi'an means to inform thoroughly. So this is family 2, which is babe tafil. Then one word from family 3. So can you let me see if you can guess what this is. So there is the hamza, then the alif, and then so akhaza, yu'akhizu, ikhazan. So ikhazan wa mu'akhizan, these are the two possible masdars. So this is one of the babs which has two possible masdars. So can you tell me now which bab is this?
Fa'ilun.
Think this is the first bab that we talk about in Mazid Fi.
Akrama.
Very good. So Babe Ifal, excellent. So this is Babe Ifal. And what is the classic example for Babe Ifal? No, one second.
Nasara Yansur.
No, one second.
Nasara Yansuru.
No, I'm sorry. This is not Babe Ifal. What's happening? Just be a little more careful here, and I also need to be careful. So what is happening here is there is the hamza, the fa letter, and then the alif, and then kha-za. So this looks like fa'ala. So do you remember qatala? Qatala, yuqatilu, and then the two masters were qitalan and muqatala. Does this ring a bell? So qatala, yuqatilu, qitalan or muqatala. So notice with hamza, then alif, then kha, sa. So this is akhaza, like qatala. Then we have yu'akhizu, sort of like yuqatilu, and ikhazan, like qitalan. Wa means this is the second masdar, so there are two masdars, ikhazan and mu'akhazatan. So mu'akhazatan is like muqatalatan. All right, so this is bab, we call this bab mufa'ala.
مفاعلة.
Okay, mufa'ala. This is bab mufa'ala, that's family 3. So family 2 was bab taf'il, family 3 is bab mufa'ala. All right, so that's the second family. Then family 4, anasa yu'nisu inasan, or athara yu'thiru itharan. So this actually, this is babe ifal. So akrama, yukrimu. So yu'nisu sounds like yukrimu. And because of the hamza, there are slight issues that show up, and that's why we are discussing this. The whole reason we call these irregular verbs is that they don't always follow the clean pattern that we have seen so far with mazid fi or with mujarrad. And there are certain cases where the standard clean pattern is not followed. So we need to understand where the pattern is not followed, and then how do we deal with the irregularity. So in the interest of time, I'll just tell you that this is babe if'al, which is akrama yukrimu ikraman, and you can see that anasa yunisu inasan, athara yuthiru itharan. These sort of look like akrama yukrimu ikraman, especially the mudare and the masdar. These look like yukrimu, akrama yukrimu ikraman. So hopefully you see the relationship. Then family 5, tabawwa'a yatabawwa'u tabawwa'an. This means to settle in a home. And ta'akhara yata'akharu ta'akhuran. This means to be late. So what bab
Late.
does this look like? Like ta'akhara?
تفاعل يتفاعل.
تفعلوا.
Yeah, tafa'ala. So
باب تفاعل.
yeah, exactly.
Tafa.
Babe tafaul. You know the classic example. So this was taqabbala, right? So taqabbala yataqabbalu yataqabbalu, and what's the masdar? Taqabbulan. Taqabbulan. So this is babe tafa'ul. So babe, so family 4 is babe tafa'ul. No, this is family 5. Family 5 is babe tafa'ul, and the two examples are tabawwa'a yatabawwa'u tabawwu'an, which means to settle in a home, and ta'akhara yata'akharu ta'akhuran, which means to be late. And then family 6, tasa'ala yatasa'alu tasa'ulan, to ask one another. Like the first surah in Amma Separa, Amma yatasa'alun, that's this word over here, to ask one another. So this is so tasa'ala yatasa'alu. This looks like babe. Which bab does this look like?
تفاعل.
Babe tafa'ul. Exactly. So this is babe tafa'ul. And then family 8, tamara ya tamiru itimaran, which means to gather and plot. Ittakhaza yattakhizu ittihazan. I'll just tell you right now that this is babe iftial. So this is babe iftial. Okay, now this was sort of a refresher. What is common about all these words that we've seen is that the hamza shows up somewhere as a root letter, and that's why all these are called mahmuz, because mahmuz means it contains a hamza. So when a word is classified as mahmuz, that means one of the root letters is hamza. This irregularity is a relatively straightforward one, and that's why we are starting with this irregularity. For the most part, the hamza is treated like a normal letter. In other words, with all the other babs, when we have normal letters like fa, ain, lam, and basically everything other than waw and ya and hamza. So these are the three non-normal letters. But hamza is closest to your regular sahih letters, whereas waw and ya create many more problems. Hamza creates problems, but it creates fewer problems. So the situation where hamza creates problems and then needs to be treated differently compared to a sahih means a regular letter, is when two hamza come together. So if we have a situation whereas which we have in babe if'al, for example. So the in babe if'al, this mazid fi, this extra thing in the beginning is a hamza. And how do we know it's a hamza? Because if we say akrama, is the first an alif or an hamza? It is a hamza because it has a fatha on it. So when two hamzas come together, that's when there is an issue. And when a hamza and an alif come together, so it's an issue. If we have a hamza and then an alif or a hamza at the end, or somewhere that is separated, they are not together. So this hamza and this hamza are not together. That's not an issue. But if you have a word where the fa letter is a hamza, then there will be an issue in babe ifal. All right, and we are going to see examples, and then we'll also see how this is dealt with. Okay. Now, one rule that I'll just say, and then we'll see an application of this rule. When we apply it, then it will start sinking in. When two hamzas come together, so if there's a situation where you just take the root letters, you stick in the root letters in the fa location, ain location, and lam location, and two hamzas come together, then that becomes hamza alif. So that becomes a. So it might be written like this, hamza alif, or it might be written as an alif mad. So it's pronounced as a. When we have, so this first situation is the first hamza has a fatha and the second hamza has a sukoon. So this becomes a. When you have the first hamza with a kasra and the second with a sukoon, then basically we extend the kasra sound. So an extension of the kasra sound makes it a ya. So hamza, kasra, hamza gets converted into e. So basically this is an extension of the kasra. I hope you recognize that there is a relationship between fatha and alif, kasra and ya, and dhamma and what's the dhamma related to?
Wow.
Wow, exactly.
Wow. Wow.
Exactly. So when you have a hamza with a dhamma followed by another hamza, then this becomes u. All right. So basically a, e, u. This is like the standard English vowels. All right. This will make sense as we go through. So what are the changes that occur in the mazid fi families? We'll first talk about the mazid fi families, which are the different babs, and then we'll talk about the changes that happen in mujarrad, salati mujarrad verbs. The only mazid fi families that are affected when it comes to mahmuz are family 3, like jahada. What's the example that we've discussed here? Jahada, for example, qatala. Family 4, aslama, which is like akrama. And family 8, iqtaraba, which is babe iftial. So for example, ijtanaba. Okay. Recall that hamza only causes problems when it meets either an alif or another hamza. Do you remember the difference between alif and hamza?
Yes.
What's the difference?
Alif comes in the center, but Hamza always comes, it may come in the beginning, middle or end.
Okay, there's another more
And it
important
has
difference.
always some harkat on it.
Exactly. So Hamza will always have a harkat, either a fatha or a dhamma or a kasra or a sukoon, whereas alif is simply an extension of the fatha sound. Okay, so alif will not have any harkat on it. Now notice that family 3 has alif as part of its container. Container is basically the pattern. And family 4 has hamza as part of its container. These container words come directly before or after the first root letter. When the root letter hamza and these container letters meet, irregularities happen. So we are going to look at examples of each of these. So let's take family 3. Do you remember what family 3 was? So this was like qatala, yuqatilu,
Khaza.
yuqatilu, and then you can have either qitalan or muqatalatan. Okay, now if your root letters are hamza, kha, and za, so these are your three root letters. If you plug in over here, so qatala, so instead of the qa, you will have the hamza, then you'll have the alif, this alif over here. Then instead of the ta, you have the kha, and you have the za. So your akhaza is your fail madi. What is the fail mudare going to be?
Yuakhizu.
Yeah, instead of yuqatilu, we have yuakhizu. And then instead of qitalan, it is ikhazan. And instead of muqatalatan, we have muakhazatan. So madi, mudare, and then mastar 1, mastar 2. And this is the way it's often taught in madaris. When you are giving a given verb, you say, when you're expressing a given verb, you say it in the past tense, then you say it in fail mudare, then you give the mastar, and then you give the file. And before the file, you say fahuwa and he mu'akhizun. So what does mu'akhizun mean? This is the ism file. Remember, ism file has a meme. So you remove the present tense indicator, put the meme dhamma, and then on the ain letter you put a kasra. So, so over here, akhaza, the way this will be written is sometimes it's written just like this, akhaza. Sometimes the hamza alif is written with the mad. So so in the Quran, this is the way it is normally written, kha-za. So these two are coming together, so it's often written like this, akhaza. Akhizu, here what's happening? So here you have hamza and alif. So here actually it's just hamza followed by alif. So this is just standard, akhizu. And then qitalan. So instead of the qaf or the fa letter, we have hamza. It's not followed by another hamza or another alif. So this is simple, ikhazan. And then mu'akhazatan is also fine. So there is no, over here we have hamza and alif, mu'akhazatan. So this sounds right. Fahuwa mu'akhizun. So the only issue over here is the fail madi, and hamza alif is written like this, akhaza. Now, checking your sort of memory of what we've studied, what do you think this row is telling us? Ukhiza.
Majhul.
Yeah, this is majhul. Excellent. And then, why do we have a wow over here? So why is this? So why is this? So there's a wow because Hamza has, with majhul we have a dhamma over here. So the dhamma will be followed by a, so hamza with a dhamma becomes u. So ukhiza, yu'akhazu, ikhazan, mu'akhazatan. So these are the masters which are the same. For huwa, this is the, can somebody remind me what mu'akhazun is? This is ism
Masdar.
maf'ul. No, this is maf'ul. Mim dhamma and then kha. So mu'akhazun. All right. So, and then what is this akhiz? Does somebody remember? This is fail amr. Remember the, so this, the fail amr, akhiz. So with fail amr, you make it majzoom at the end. La tu'akhiz is a negative command, and mu'akhaza, this is ism zarf. All right. So the only major impact with family 3 has to do with this past tense, which becomes akhaza. All right. So that's family 3. Coming to family 4, which is babe if'al. Amana yu'minu imanan. So what are the root letters here? Hamza, Mim, and Noon. Family 4, if you remember, is akrama. So akrama yukrimu ikraman. So what's happening over here? The fa letter is now a hamza. So the first hamza is just part of this pattern. The fa letter is now a hamza. The ra letter is mim, and the lam letter is noon. So what happens when we have a hamza, fatha followed by a hamza? This basically becomes hamza alif. So amana, yu'minu. So yu'minu, here we have this ya is the present tense indicator. So what is the comparable one? It is akrama yukrimu. Yukrimu. So we have ya instead of the kaf, we now have the hamza. The ra, instead of the ra, we have the mim, and instead of the mim, we have the noon. So here there is no problem because hamzas or alifs are not coming together. And then the masdar, akrama yukrimu ikraman. Okay, now notice what's happening here. Can you tell me why there's a ya over here? Even though there is no ya in the root letters, but why do we have a ya over here?
Hamza with a
Exactly.
kasra.
Exactly. If hamza with a kasra, so if you have hamza with a kasra followed by another hamza, then what does this combination become? It becomes hamza ya. So that's what's happening here. Because if you do you see why this? What's the larger point here? Why do the Arabs do this? How do you think we would pronounce? Can we pronounce this? Hamza with a kasra followed by an alif. Can you try and pronounce this?
No,
Yeah,
not
it does make sense.
It doesn't make sense, right? So what is the most logical thing? Remember, Arabs wanted to sound good, right? So what is the sort of the smoothest sound that can come after a hamza? Yeah, right. E. So that's why this is replaced by iman. And you'll notice generally if you forget the overarching logic, at least as I've understood it, is when they are sort of difficult or not so pleasing sounds, then an adjustment is made so that it becomes smoother. So imanan. Fahuwa mu'minun, what does this mean?
The file.
Ya fa'il. Fa, so, huwa, he, mu'minun. This is the ism fa'il. And then same idea over here. Umina. So since this is majhul, there is a dhamma. That's why it's followed by waw, even though waw is not a root letter. And I hope you understand why we are doing this, because when you see, for example, imanan or umina, sometimes the root, you will recognize that this is babe if'al, but the first root letter, which is hamza, is not explicitly showing up. Here also, here actually the first root letter, which is hamza, is showing up. The hamza generally sits either on an alif or it sits on a waw, and sometimes it's on its own, but that's unusual. So the hamza generally needs a seat. So this waw over here is just serving as a seat for hamza. Hamza sits on it. The waw is not pronounced. So this is yu manu. So this is pronounced yu manu. And notice that with yu minu, hamzas and waws are not coming together. So the two hamzas are not coming together. So this is actually pretty standard. So we have akrama yukrimu. Similarly, instead of yukrimu, we just have yu'minu. So it is the exact same pattern. Imanan is the masdar. Fahuwa mu'manun. What's mu'manun? Ism maf'ul. And then amin, what is this? This is the command. This is amar. La tumin is don't believe. And mu'manun, this is the ism zarf. Okay. Then family 8. So remember, the only three places where we get impacted by the hamza is family 3, which is qatala yuqatilu qitalan, or muqatalatan, babe mufa'ala, then babe if'al, family 4, and babe ifti'al. Okay, so here ittakhaza yattakhizu ittikhazan. What do you think the root letters are here?
Hamza,
Hamza,
Kha,
Kha.
and Za.
Excellent. So Hamza, Kha, and Za. Okay, now the root are basic. This is slightly tricky. So ijtanaba, yajtanibu, ijtinaban. All right. So ijtanibu. So instead of the jim, let's just plug in the root letters. So over here, what root letters do I plug in?
Arif Sahab, I have a question.
Please go ahead.
Ittakhaza means it is starting from alif, not hamza, or it is hamza.
This, no, this is is this an alif or an hamza? In babe iftial, the first alif, which is not part of the root letter, it's part of the mazid fi. Is this an alif or a hamza?
It appears to be alif.
But alif cannot have a harkat. This has a harkat.
Alif cannot have the kasra. If it is kasra, then it is taken as hamza, a root letter.
No. Hamza is a different thing. Root letter is a different thing. So this hamza in ittakhaza is coming because ittakhaza has the pattern or is part of babe iftial. In babe iftial, the first alif is not a root letter. The first alif is part of the pattern. So the alif is part of the pattern. It's not the root letter. The ta is also the ta. Okay, so in this babe iftial, what are the three root letters? Or actually, let's do it with ijtanaba. With ijtanaba, what are the three root letters and what are the mazid? Mazid fi means extra. So what are the three root letters here and what's extra? So tell me the three root letters.
Jim,
Jim, Noon, Ba.
Okay. So what is the Hamza and Ta? These are the Mazid fi. These are the extra things coming in. That's why it's called.
Ji.
What does Mazid fi mean?
extra in it.
Exactly. Mazid fi literally
More than
means
Mujarrid.
more than Mujarrid, but literally Mazid, like when we say Mazid, we mean more, right? More. Fi,
More, yes.
and fi means fi is
In it.
in it, so more in it. So in ijtanaba, the root or the core letters are jim, noon, ba, and the mazid fees. The reason it's called mazid fees, it has this first letter is the first alif or hamza. It's hamza, and then we have the ta. So these are the mazid fee. So now what I'm asking you is ijtanaba is simple because none of the root letters are hamza. All the root letters are sahih. Okay, they are the non-problematic letters. But now with akhaza, if I want to put akhaza in this pattern, what would I do? I would first, instead of like this stays, right? The first hamza stays because that's part of the mold
Pattern.
or the pattern, right? So that will stay. What do I put instead of jim?
Another Hamza.
You'd put another hamza, right? So you'd put another hamza, and then we have the ta. What do I put instead of the noon?
Noon.
Kha. Right? So the middle letter is a kha. And what would I put instead of the za? I would put a ba. No, I put a za.
I think the Za comes there.
Yeah. So here there'd be a za.
Takhaza.
Okay, now this would be very awkward to pronounce, right? If I literally do this. There's a hamza with a kasra, then a alif, then a kha. Now in this case, when you have hamza with a kasra followed by another hamza and a kha, what the Arabs decided, like based on the rules we've just talked about, it would be itakhaza, but that doesn't sound very good. So what the Arabs decided to do here, and we just need to learn it and take it as a given, is use ta with a shadda. So this becomes ittakhaza. So this becomes ittakhaza yattakhizu ittikhazan fahuwa muttakhiz. So that's what's happening here. So because of the hamza, we don't follow a standard rule. We make, this is an irregular verb, which means we need to do some fix, and the fix converts this into ittakhaza. So ittakhaza is actually babe iftial, and the reason and the way you recognize babe iftial is you will see this ta in the middle, and this ta, I hope you've now fully comprehended, is not part of the root letters. So here the root letter is hamza, but that hamza is by and large hidden. So the hamza that is part of the root letter just sort of gets merged into this ta with the shadda. So ittakhaza yattakhizu ittikhazan fahuwa muttakhiz. This is the ism file. Uttakhizu, this is majhul. Yuttakhazu ittikhazan fahuwa muttakhazun. This is the ismul maf'ul. Ittakhiz, this is a command. La tattakhiz, this is negative command. Muttakhaz, this is ism zarf. So the key takeaway is that in family 8, what is happening is that instead of the two hamzas, we just keep one hamza with the kasra, which is originally part of our pattern. And instead of the second hamza, we just put a shadda on the ta. So this becomes ittakhaza. All right. Now, when we study the Quran, once we've done this, we'll realize that this keeps showing up. So ittakhaza, this ittakhaza means to hold or to take with great care, or holding on to something with a lot of sort of care and concern. So That's where this is coming from.
So Arif sir, in family 8, will this pattern continue that the the Hamza will be replaced by the following letter in Tajdeed?
If if the in Babe Iftial, if the fa letter is a Hamza, as we have in Ittakhaza,
Right.
then this fa letter is removed and the ta gets ashadda.
Ta or the acha. Okay, it has to be the ta. Right, right.
Because if, let's say, you have another word which is mahmuz al-ain or mahmuz al-lam, then there is no problem. Why do I say that? So mahmuz, if it is mahmuz al-ain or mahmuz al-fa, al-lam, why is it not a problem?
Because the Hamza in the Iftial is only coming in the beginning.
Exactly. Because the issue comes because in Babe Iftial, we already have the Hamza in the beginning. So the issue will only happen with words where the first root letter is Hamza. If the second root letter is Hamza or the third root letter is Hamza, then it doesn't meet the first Hamza, so there is no problem.
And the alif after the ain in Iftial, that's a alif. That's not a Hamza, is it?
That's exactly. That's not an alif.
Okay.
Yeah, this is an alif. This is not a
Right.
Hamza. Right. So that makes life easier. The issue is
Right.
with the Hamzas.
Hamza.
All right. And I'd say you learn these examples. These are the most common ones. So with Babe, with Mahmuz, the issue happens with Babe, this is Qatala, Yuqatilu, Muqatala. So Babe Mufa'ala. And here the only issue happens really, the big issue is with the present tense. And it's simply a matter of extending the first letter, Akhaza. All right, then we have family 4, which is Babe Ifal, Akrama Yukrimu Ikraman. Here, the issue is, over here with the past tense, but this is easy. Amana, Yu'minu, and the issue is with the masdar, Imanan. So, do you remember what is the Akrama Yukrimu Ikraman? So, Ikraman or Babe Ifal, Ikraman, the Hamza has a kasra. Here again, notice this alif. So, Aziz Saab, is this an alif or a Hamza in Babe Ifal? Like if I say Akrama Yukrimu Ikraman, so in Ikraman, Ikraman, is this a Hamza or an alif?
You've given the solution by putting Hamza there.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I've given the solution. So I just wanted to emphasize this is obviously a Hamza because even if I didn't put the Hamza, there's a Kasra on it. So this is a Hamza. So with Amana, notice the issue only happens with root letters here where the first letter would be a Hamza, such as Amana. And if I have Ikraman and I put Hamza over here, instead of the kaf, I have Hamza with a kasra followed by another Hamza, and that situation leads to a Hamza ya. So imanan. All right. So with family 4, your classic example with Mahmuz is amana yu'minu imanan. Can you remember that? So for family 3, I want you to remember akhaza yu'akhizu ikhazan. For family 4, which is Babe Ifal, I want you to remember Amana Yu'minu Imanan. And for family 8, which is Babe Iftial, I want you to remember Ittakhaza Yattakhizu Ittikhazan. All right. So now what happens with Mujarrad? What's Mujarrad? This is Salati Mujarrad. This is where we the Madi only has the 3 root letters. When it comes to Mujarrad, there are 2 irregularities. These irregularities only occur when the first or second root letter is Hamza. So when the first root letter is Hamza, when the Hamza meets with the Alif, the only, you see here, the good thing with Mujarrad is that at least in the past tense, there's not going to be a problem, because in the past tense, we just have the three root letters. There is no other alif coming, so it's not a problem. But what happens, what's the pattern or the mold for Ismul Fa'il? Do you remember? For Salasi Mujarrad.
File.
It's
File.
exactly, yeah, it is file.
File.
So for example, Qa, Ta, La, what's the file here? Qa,
Qatil. Qatil.
yeah, Qatilun. Now, what if the root letters are Hamza, Kha, and Ra? Then what is the Ismul Fa'il?
Akhizun.
Yeah, this should Akhirun. Hamza, Kha, Ra. So Akhirun. So we have Hamza followed by an Alif. So what does that become? That becomes an Alif Mad. So that's why this is read Akhirun.
Alif Mad.
So now I hope you realize when you see an Alif Mad, that is representing a Hamza and an Alif. And why is it prolonged?
Because of two,
Because
Hamza and
exactly.
Alif.
So what we learn in Tajweed classes, so there's just the Fatha, which is a quick, like if I say a Fatha is just a very short sound, then next after the Fatha comes, like we might say Qa, but then what happens with the Mad? Then we prolong it even more, right? So the prolonging is reflecting the fact that we have, so prolonging is reflecting the fact that we have an Hamza and an Alif. So that's read Akhirun. So Akhirun is Ismul Fa'il. Another situation happens when Hamza meets Hamza. So two Hamzas. So Ismul Tafzil. Do you remember Tafzil? So one example of Tafzil is Akbaru, Akbaru, Afzalu, Aktharu. What does this mean? What does Akbaru? What does Tafzil mean?
Degree.
Degree. Actually, it's a comparison. Yeah. Akbaru means greater than, Aktharu means more than, Asgharu means smaller than. So here also with Ismul Tafzil, we have an Alif coming in the beginning. So if you have the first root letter is an Alif, such as, or a Hamza, so you have over here Hamza Kha Ra. So Hamza and Alif combines together to become Alif Mad Akharu. All right. So Akbaru, but with Akbaru there's no problem because the three root letters are all Sahih. But with Hamza Kha Ra, the first root letter is a Hamza. So this becomes Akharu. The third situation is the Hamza and Alif are dropped in the command form, and the example is shown over here. So Akala, is this Mahmuz?
Yes.
Yes, Mahmuz.
So this is Mahmuz and it is Mujarrad. So Akala, Yakulu, any issues over here? Or this looks fairly standard? So this is standard, right? Akala, like Zahaba, Fa'ala, so no problem. Yakulu, this is also fairly standard because in both the Madi and Mudare, there is, two Hamzas or Hamza and Alif are not coming together. Aklan, this is the Masdar. Fahuwa Akilun. What is this?
File.
This is file. Here there's an issue and we resolve the issue by making it Alif Mad. So Akilun is one who eats. Ukila, Yukalu, Aklan is the Masdar, the act of eating. Fahuwa Ma'kulun, this is on the pattern of Maf'ulun. No issue here. What does Kul mean?
All or
No, kul with akala means
eat.
to eat.
Kul means eat command.
Exactly, eat. So kul is eat command. Now, what would the normal form be? As in, do you remember if I say akala, create? So this is. Let's just go back first to if I say let's take daraba yadribu. I just want to illustrate a point here. So daraba yadribu. How would I convert this to a command? Do you remember? Yadribu.
Idrib.
Yeah, exactly. We replace with Salati Mujarrad, we replace the Ya with Hamza, and then there is Da, Ra, Ba. We put a Sukoon on the last letter, and if there's a Kasra over here, then we put a Kasra over here. So this becomes Idrib. Now, if we apply the same logic to Akala, Ya Akilu, we replace the Ya with Hamza, and this is a Dhamma, so this a better example would have been Nasara Yansuru, and that would have become Unsur, right? So using that same logic, we would have a Hamza followed by Hamza, followed by the Kaf and the so the Kaf Lam. So this would have been
Kul.
yeah. How do we say this?
Kul.
Either a Zamma or a Kasra. Either of these just can't be said. So what's the solution?
You drop the two.
You drop both of them, right? So what are you left with?
Kul.
Kul, right? So what does kul mean? Eat. So this looks complicated, but when you get to the end result, you can sort of see where it's coming from. So kul means eat, and what does this mean? Kul.
Say.
Say. So this is also a
Say.
command. So that is a slightly different rule, but this is the more relevant, right? So this is actually the third point, when Hamza and Alif are dropped in the command form. Okay, so this is with Mujarrad when the first root letter is Hamza.
It's just a separate question.
Yeah.
You talked about Alif Mad. Sometimes in the Quran, you have to extend the words even longer. Like, I don't remember the example, but sometimes you have to do it even longer.
Yeah. So
when does that happen?
Okay, so what the question you are asking is tajweed question. So I'll just quickly answer it, but that's sort of a different topic. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to, as in I haven't yet fully figured out the relationship between the two. But in the Quran, when there is an alif, and then as part of the word, a hamza comes after it. So within the same word, when you have hamza, alif and hamza, then this is given the longest extension. So this would be pronounced because there's an alif followed by a hamza. Sometimes you have word 1 followed by word 2. And if word 1 ends on an alif, for example, dhahaba, and then the second word begins with a hamza, then you prolong it, but less than the longer mad. So there are all these rules about how long to prolong, but those are tajweed rules. Those are not grammar rules. That's a separate,
right.
Like tajweed is a full science unto itself.
Right.
And there's some relationship between tajweed and grammar that's like 1 or 2 classes just on that. Okay. When the second root letter is hamza, so the hamza and alif are dropped in the commanding form. So sa'ala, how would you make a command out of this? Sa'ala yas'alu. What would the command be? Sa'ala. It would be is-al. So for some reason, the Arabs didn't like this and this, so they just say sal. Like Sal Bani Israel, ask the Bani Israel.
Bani Israel.
So this is the other situation. When the Hamza comes in the middle, then we drop both the Hamza and the Alif. So as a quick recap here, for Mujarrad, there are two situations. Either the first root letter is Hamza or the second root letter is Hamza. If the first root letter is Hamza, then we have three situations which are fairly straightforward. One is the Ismul Fa'il situation, like Qatilun. There all we do is create an Alif Madda. Another is Ism Tafzil situation, like Akbaru. If we have the first root letter as Hamza, that becomes Akharu. So there is a Hamza. And the third situation is in the Fail Amr or command. Here we simply drop the Hamza, the two Hamzas. And then when we come to the scenario where the second root letter is Hamza, so there also the impact is only with Fail Amr, and with Fail Amr we again drop. So wherever there is a Fail Amr and we have Hamza either as the first root letter or the second root letter, then we drop all the alifs and drop all the Hamzas. All right. Okay. Do I have a...
Is there a case, Arif Sahab, where the Hamza is the third root letter?
Exactly. There is a case where the Hamza is the third root letter, that's called Mahmuz al-Lam, but with that there are no irregularities. So Hamza at the end does not create a problem.
Okay.
So that just follows all the normal rules that we have discussed. Okay, this is the last point, then we'll conclude. Recall that changes occur when Hamza meets another Hamza or an Alif. This occurs, so with Sarfe Kabir. Sarfe Kabir is the long sarf that, that we've talked about. So for example, Yansuru, Yansura, Yansuru. So when we come up with the 14 forms, so as a quick refresher, what are those 14 forms? So if we have singular, plural, singular, dual, plural, and partly as I do this, I'm going to help you sort of refresh your memory. Third person, male, female. So what is the Sarf-e Kabir for Nasara? For Nasara, Yansuru. So Yan Suru. So singular would be Yansuru. What would dual be? Yansura. What would the plural be?
Yansuruna.
Yansuru. This is Yansuruna. Very good.
Sorry.
The plural. No,
Yansuruna.
You're right. The plural will be Yansuruna. What about female? Tansuru.
Tansuru.
Tansura. And what's the plural going to be? Yansurna.
Tansurina.
Yansurna.
Oh, Yansurna. Okay.
And second person, what's male? Tansuru. Dual is Tansura. And plural is Tansuru. Female is Tansurina, Tansura, Tansurna. And what is first person? Male. Male and female is the same. Ansuru. And what's plural?
Nansuru.
Very good.
Nansuru, Nansuru.
So Nansuru. Okay. The Ana version of the Mudari. What's the Ana version of the Mudari?
Ansuru.
Exactly. The Ana version of the Mudari, if the word is Mahmuz al-Fa, what does that mean?
That means if it starts with the Hamza.
Exactly. Very good. So Ana version of Mudari, if the word is Mahmuz, the Hamza in the root letter meets the Hamza in the Ana. So the point here is, if instead of the noon we have a Hamza, then this turns into a mad, which makes sense, right? So this change occurs only in Salati Mujarrad. So for example, if I want to say I take, Akhaza means to take. So how would I say I take?
Akhuzu. Akhuzu.
Akhuzu. Okay. How do I say I eat?
Akulu. Akulu.
Akulu. All right. So, so I hope you get the point over here. So in Sarfe Kabir, the only place where we start with the Hamza is the first person. So the ana form. All right. Okay. So that is it for today's class. Now I'll share these slides with you. I would want you to go over all these ayat from the Quran, and I want you to detect the verbs such as yu'minina. So I want you to pick the ones and then figure out. So basically you need to find all the verbs in here that are mahmuz, and then figure out whether they are mahmuz al-fa, ayn, lam, and then figure out what rule is being applied. So for example, what's going on over here? What is this? Ya Adam uskun anta wa zawjuka al-jannata wa kula minha. So what's this kula doing? What are the root letters here?
Akala.
Akala. So what you realize is you don't always see all the root letters. So which root letter is missing?
Hamza.
The first Hamza, right?
Hamza.
From Kala, this Hamza is just totally dropped. Why is it dropped?
Because it become Kul.
Yeah, it's dropped
Kul.
because this is a command, and we said that in a command,
Yeah.
if your first letter is a Hamza, all the Hamzas are just kicked out. And Aziz Saab, what's this? Is this an Alif or a Hamza? Akula.
Akula is Alif.
This is Alif, very good. Because it's simply prolonging the lam. It's not, doesn't have any harkat on it. And what does kula mean?
Eat, both of you.
Exactly. Yeah.
From here.
Minha, from it.
Okay.
So both of you eat from it. Okay. So then the next, La yuqbalu minha shafa'atun wala yu'khazu. So do you notice what's happening here? Yu'khazu. This is the this is what we discussed today also. Kulu, again, this is the command. Waqalu ittakhaza, that Allah has taken. So anyway, so I think you can now go over these Quranic ayat and identify the verbs that are mahmuz, and then try to figure out whether it's mahmuz al-fa, lam, ayn, and what particular form is it? Is it third person, second person, singular, plural, etc. All right, so that will help reinforce this. So that is it for today. This took longer than I thought, but that's for 2-3 reasons. I hope I think you'll probably realize why we are doing illats at the very end of this course, right? They are slightly
tricky.
hard. They're tricky, but obviously there are many words in the Quran that have illat, so knowing them is important. Or at the very least, it's important to know that they exist. When you know that they exist, then at least you recognize that, okay, they are,
In the Quranic ayat, yes.
Yeah, so you know that they exist. So, okay. Sometimes the way I deal with it is, okay, there's an illat, I'll just learn it. But if you want to understand all the mechanics, that's what we'll do over the next 3-4 classes. All right. So that is it. If there are any questions.
I think some of the most frequent words are actually.
Yeah.
I think some of the most frequent words in the Quran have the one with illat, like qala.
Exactly. Very true. And that's because the illats are very true. That's why it's so important to do. We can't just ignore them. And the reason for that is the illats come from the vowels, right? A, E, U. And obviously vowels are very common. So that's why we are studying it. But this is only for the tough ones. Most people, by the time they get to illats, they can't handle it. But
most people get ill when you get into illats.
Most people get ill by this time. So it's only the tough people who can survive this. All right. Okay.
Thank you,
So
sir.
that is it. Thank you very much. Assalamu
Thank you.
alaikum.
Okay, thank you, sir. Jazakallah wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.